Hey guys, Gathering the Magic back again. New Splinterforge content is going to be coming on the channel. I'm starting a new, what I'm calling the Splinterforge Common Hero Challenge. And what that is I spent about 40 cents, about 2,000 forge, and bought one piece of common equipment for my hero. If you are a follower of my channel for quite a while, you will know that I have not two accounts, but I actually do have three accounts. My third account I have not played in quite some time. I never made a Splinterforge account for this account. So I decided, you know what, I wanted to try to see if I started a hero and all I had was common equipment for all my slots for all the heroes, how would I go about building this character out? You know, what would the challenges be? What would be my expected return? You know, how much forge would I get per battle and all that? So I'm going to be starting this series, and as you can see, I've bought my common equipment for my heroes, so they are ready to go. For Splinterforge, you need to have, when you fight the bronze boss, at least 20 stat points to get full earnings. I will only have 10 stat points for each hero, so I'll only be earning at 50%. So how will I build and grow the account? So what I'm going to do for this account is all the forge that I earn in this account is going to be put back into the account. I'm not going to take any out for SPS, DEC, none of that. It's all going to be either spent on the Splex marketplace to buy individual pieces of equipment, or if I can manage to save up 3,000 or more forge, I may buy some crates or bags. Obviously, crates and bags are going to be way, way, way down the road. The main way that I'm going to grow this account is by going on the Splex marketplace and deciding what pieces of equipment and runes and gems I need to build or buy to build the account. So what are my goals with this? My first goal is to get to 20 stat points as fast as I can to get to that 100% earning. Decide what gear is best for max bronze. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to get to 20 points and then decide, okay, what do I need to get as far as gear? Do I want to go for epics and higher? Do I want to just go for rares, since rares can have 2 slots? Do I want to try for gold foil rares to get more forge? You know, what is the best gear that I should go for starting out this character? My next goal will be to advance on, and actually, first of all, get on the leaderboard. It's going to take quite a while to get on the leaderboard starting from scratch, but that is a goal to eventually get there. And then farther down the road, once I can get a max level bronze character, advance to the silver boss. So those are my goals right now. Some of the challenges that I'm going to have, obviously, is my hero is only going to do 2 points of damage. So your heroes start with a base damage of 1, and since they all have a common piece of equipment, that raises it to 2. But still, a lot of the damage that is done in Splinterforge is done by your hero. So having a hero that only is going to do 2 damage really forces you to concentrate more on the monster side of the build and the cards that you have in Splinterlands to do a majority of your damage, at least early on. The second big challenge is you can't just rent Lily and Yasik. I mean, I could, but the problem is I don't have the runes to play different splinters. So in Splinterforge, when you go to fight, you can pick 2 summoners, and what a lot of the players do that have, you know, accounts built up is they will simply rent either Kitty and Yasik, or they will rent Lily and Yasik. Let's go to recent battles. So like here's a player that did 1,600 damage. It will show me their summoners. You can see Yasik and Kitty. And then of course they have a hero that's almost maxed out doing 9 melee and bronze. So one of the challenges is going to be, okay, what summoners should I build? So I will document this well and run this these videos through so you guys can see it to know exactly what my strategy is for my summoners starting off. Of course, another challenge is I'm not going to be earning a lot of Forge and Electrum. It'll be slow going, but we'll get faster as I get closer to 100%. So every Forge and every Electrum in this build is going to be precious since I'm going to have a limited amount. Electrum is used for adding sockets to your items. So even adding a socket to a common may be necessary to help speed up the build. Another challenge is I can't afford rerolls. One of the things that they recently added in Splinterforge is the bosses will have a static ability that they have through the life of the boss until they die, but there's also a random ability that they will have that changes battle to battle. If you don't like this ability, you can re-roll it. The first cost is 3 forge, then 6, and it goes up from there. The problem is I'm getting so few forge per battle, I can't really afford any re-rolls. So that does make it a little more challenging. And another challenge, of course, is the 45 mana cap. Eventually, I will be able to get runes that allow you to add more mana to your team, so you can cast higher level creatures and do more damage that way, so I am limited in that. So my first goal is to get to 20 stat points. So there's two different ways I could go about this. One is I could put a socket in 2 pieces of common equipment, and that's going to cost me 300 Electrum each, which is going to take quite a while to get to that. And then the best item to buy, especially at lower levels to try to get to that 20 stat points, is a Faded Emerald. What a Faded Emerald will give you is it will give you 4 armor. Every point is actually an extra 5% that you'll be earning on your account. So if I can go from 10 stat points, this one Faded Emerald will put me at 14. All of a sudden I'm going from 50% earning to 70% earning, which is huge. And right now a Faded Emerald costs about 1172 forge. So just say close to 1200 forge is what I'm going to have to save up just to get one of those Faded Emeralds. Now another thing that I could do that's a little bit cheaper, let's see, I'm just reading my notes here. It costs about 1,000 each. I think, what did I just say? It's a little bit more than that. So Faded, it's almost 1,200. So let's just say it's about 1,200 per emerald. So if I don't want to do this, another thing that I could do is try the reforging route and just buy 4 pieces of common equipment, whatever's the cheapest, reforge it, and then I will definitely get a rare. Rares, I think, are what I'm going to go for in this build. I'm just going to try to get all rare armor because rares will be able to have 2 sockets, which will make this build a little bit better in the long run. Plus, there's always that 10% chance of a gold foil, which would give me 8% extra earnings per battle, which is going to be huge for this build. So the cost for that would be right now about 850 forge. It would cost me about 175 forge per piece, and then 150 for the reforge. So 2 different ways that I could go about it. So right now, let me just run through what my hero is, or actually what my summoners are for this. So of course I'm fighting the bronze boss. So instead of Lily and Yasik, the 2 that I am going to focus on, because these are the monsters that people usually play, are Water and Life. So for me, the 2 best summoners are Kelia, because of the speed and +1 armor, and Ilthane, simply because Ilthane gives another speed, and speed is huge. Plus with that return fire, the boss is always going to do archery damage. They're going to do all 3 types of damage. So, you know, doing a little bit damage back to the boss every time you're hit with archery damage is a big bonus. So what I did for this to start off is I rented the Kraken. I love using Lily as a summoner because Lily, with the camouflage, forces the boss to attack the creature in the first position. The only way I can go about that now is to get a monster with taunt, so the Kraken is a great choice. Also, since I'm playing Kraken, I would love to play the Swamp Spitter for the repair, but since this boss has return fire, I'm not going to use Swamp Spitter. I'm going to use Scavo Hireling. Halfling Alchemist is another huge card that you're definitely going to want to have playing in bronze or basically almost any tier for the halving ability. This does not always apply, just so you guys know. I think it's a 50% chance, but to reduce the boss's damage down to 3 is huge. The damage cannot go below 3. So if, like for example, the Alchemist hits and it affects his archery damage, it won't go down below 3, but going from 5 to 3 is huge for survivability. Also want to have a heal. so definitely we'll have the Guardian. I would do a double heal, but once again, I don't want to use archery because I will just be, that damage will be reflected back. So we've got our Kraken, we've got a heal and repair, we've got the Halfling Alchemist to kind of reduce his damage. We're going to go with Archimus the Bear for some damage and just some extra armor. And then for 5 points left, I'm going to go with another slow. So I love using Creeping Ooze and Time Mage. So we've got a double slow on the boss, so that will slow his attacks down to 4. He's going to be focusing on the Kraken, and we've got a heal and repair on the Kraken. So let's see how we do. Once again, not expecting a whole lot of damage, with a naked hero, or almost naked hero, doing 2 points of damage. But we'll just see what we can do. For bronze, the most you can get, I believe, is if you get 350 damage or higher. I think the most you can get is like 12.5 forge per battle. So the highest I could possibly get is 6 forge, but I'm not going to do 350 damage. So, as you can see right now, I did 125 points of damage. So since I'm only at 50% earnings, I only get 63 points toward the leaderboard and 2.28 forge, and picked up 3 electrum. And also another side note too is there is going to be experience points that will be used later on down the line when they add more features. So playing now and getting even a little bit of experience points kind of puts me ahead of everyone else that joins Splinterlands or Splinterforge later. So let's go ahead and do another battle. As you can see, right now I've used some of my stamina. I've only managed to get 27 forge. It's going to be slow going. Let's look at this rule set. So right now, True Strike. So he's always going to hit. But this is a rule set I would rather see rather than like Shield or Affliction. Those would be bad. Or Thorns. So let's go ahead and do another battle. So once again, we're going to pick Kelia and Ilthane. We're going to do Kraken, Repair, Heal, Slow, Halfling Alchemist. Actually, let's put Archimus the Bear. Let's put him second. This is something I didn't know till recently, that you can arrange the order just by clicking and dragging. So a lot of times it doesn't matter unless you don't have. Well, if you have like camouflage and stuff like that, I guess order doesn't matter for the most part because the boss will just randomly attack unless you have a taunt monster. If you have a taunt monster, it's not as important. So let's go ahead and do another battle. So my plan is to play this account like my other accounts, just try to drain my stamina, see how much Forgium and Electrum I can get, and then slowly decide how I want to build the character. Like right now, 139 damage, about 2.5 Forge, not too bad for this level. So we'll continue playing. We'll track the progress of this account day by day. Once I get some updates to the account as far as when I'm ready to buy my first piece of armor or rent different summoners or monsters for the build. When I come up with new content for this, I will definitely upload it just to keep you guys in the loop so you guys can kind of track too how long it's taking me to advance this account, kind of grow the heroes, grow the build, what kind of equipment am I going to go for, just what's my strategy with that. So just a fun new series, like I said, kind of grindy. It's going to take a while, not a lot of earnings, but I'm always just kind of curious if you just start from almost scratch and just spend the time and attention and build up your account day by day, how long would it take you to get to the point where, like my other accounts, I'm pretty much max bronze, can fight the bronze boss, can always get the max forge earnings, and where do I go from there after that? So just thought it would be a fun little video series for you guys. So like I said, I will upload content on this from time to time just to kind of show you guys how the account is progressing. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comments below. And until then, keep on forging.